I didn't want to be me. That is the only difficulty that any human will experience in their lives. And I will tell you, that is also the source of the challenges, the chaos, and the difficulty that we're experiencing in our world now. See, every person is born to become something, and it's their authentic self. But in order to get there, we have to move through all the old stuff, all the old crap, because we all have it. No one is born into the world without those ties to something that came before that was limited or restricted. If you look at the world, you can see that it looks quite different than it did several hundred years ago because we keep evolving. But evolution occurs within each person. And we have to decide that we matter and that we have something to give to the world. But we don't always get there because we've also been programmed to believe that isn't true. And I'm going to tell you a little story. See, because most people probably knew me um, as being a vocal coach. That's what I started doing in 1988. You will find very little evidence of that now because that's pretty much gone, except for the people who have copied my videos, and you might find them on different channels. But my channel is gone. It was hacked by Russia a couple years ago. I know that doesn't make sense, but that's what happened. But I also knew it was the universe pushing me to start to accept more of who I was because I was hanging on to that, knowing that there was more that I had to do. See, because we each have that. We come in with this divine plan that we're meant to follow, but sometimes it gets really uncomfortable and it gets scary because we're going into that unknown portion of who we are. But everyone's supposed to do that. And but the problem with that is we have the old stuff. The things that told us we weren't enough, that told us that we didn't matter, that told us that all people aren't equal, that women shouldn't be equal, so all that. When we look at it and we have to think logically, why did that go on? It's energy. That's all it is. It's energy and consciousness, you see, because that's the only way that we create the world. We create our lives and the world the same way. I did a workshop about a week ago, you can find that, where I wanted to explain in scientific terms the changes that were going on and also to explain me. Because, see, I started doing something else in 1988. I started receiving information, cosmic information, because I meditated. Now, it was really crazy for me to accept that. And so I didn't tell anybody about it. I tried to hide it for like 20 years until it was exposed. And then I said, okay, maybe I need to put that out there. But then it changed a little while later. And in 2016, I started sharing a little bit more of my journey because I knew where the world was going. I started talking about all the things that I moved through, like my prejudices, my anger, my judgments, all of that stuff. I had to look at it, and it was really uncomfortable. That's the shadow work that you do, but I did all of it. But then the other thing that I did, I walked through every difficulty, every challenge, every illness, every failure. I walked through all of that. And I did it with the work that I was receiving. Couldn't tell anybody that it was happening because it didn't make sense. And then the other thing that started happening in 2020, I knew the world was changing because we thought, oh, it's the pandemic. I said, nope, it's more than that. And I knew that, which is why I changed my life and changed my direction. Before that, many of you might have seen some of these things I posted because I said I sold my $1 million business. And that was true because that business that I had created, my singing business, was making millions of dollars. Well, it probably has now, but I sold it because I knew I'm hanging on to that and I've got to go somewhere else. We will change. I've had so many different careers throughout my life, so that's another thing, but we will change. And many people now are probably finding themselves wanting to change, wanting to bring something back that they maybe put away or that they didn't believe in themselves, because that's our only problem. We don't believe ourselves. We just have this self-doubt and judgment, all of us, and we don't know our worth and value, and then the world ends up looking the way that it does because we have so many people who have become marginalized, who don't know that they have power, that they matter, that they should be here, and then other people can kind of take over. That's gone on throughout civilization. We can see that, but we're at a place now where it's really there, and we have to make a decision. And the decision that we've got to make is that we're going to be ourselves. We're going to love who we are. Because that's a whole entirely new energy, you see, when we put that into the world. And so when we do things, we know that it's only mindset and consciousness. We will take courses, we will go to mentors or coaches. I've done all of those things. But then the bottom line is you got to find out, did it work? I've done everything, and the thing that worked is the information that I've been writing for more than 35 years. Because he had healed every aspect of my life, everything. Physical illnesses that people said, this, you can't even do this. This is impossible. I shared a video a couple of days ago, I believe, and it was from a channeling session 2 years ago where all of that information came through. And I knew quite well that my role, because we all have a role, we just got to find it and decide to own it. But it came through. My role was to marry science and spirituality and human potential. Because, see, the work is about becoming successful, about becoming happy. Those are the energies that change our lives and change our world. And everyone has the ability to do that. Not everyone will. And that's the other thing we have to recognize as well, because some people are going to hold on to their old ideas, their judgments, their hatred, their anger, their blame, all of that. I've written about all of it because I knew I had to work through it and give it that information to others. The way we evolve as a society, as a civilization, is that whatever we learn through our lives, through our experiences, if we can get over the judgment of them, then we can give that information, that wisdom back to others. I just posted a message about that as well, because we have to look at this logically. No one comes into the world knowing everything. They may think they do and try to convince everyone else of that. None of us know. We don't know where we're going. We do not know what is going to happen in the world. And one of the messages that came through continually on my live channeling sessions was, the world you want to see is not guaranteed. You see, because we create the world through deciding to love who we are. It's all energetic. If we can accept ourselves, then everything happens. And there's timing also. There's timing that goes on in our universe and timing that goes on in our lives. And we are all coming together now to look at that and decide what we're going to do. And what we're going to do, and the only choice that would make sense, is to love yourself, is to decide to become who you're meant to be. Now, I will tell you, the work that I do, I'm so thrilled. The video that I shared was from 2 years ago, and it was before I did my first program, 4 Weeks to Your Best Life, because, see, I was still questioning, I was still doubting. But then when I did it, and I'm seeing these people who are absolutely transforming, and I'm shocked because I don't know how they're doing that so quickly. It took me so many years. But see, again, that's what we don't understand. That's how it happens. Whatever we do and give to others, they progress. That's what it is. And I came to this decision because I'm moving in, and this is the last act of my life. This is the last thing I'm doing. Because I'm going to be 73, as I've said, in November. And this is all I'm going to do, because, and I also know it's the most important act of my life, because if I can bring more people to loving themselves, to becoming abundant, to becoming prosperous, to stop judging themselves and move through their doubt and their fear, then I've made a great contribution. That's why I wrote the book on fear in 2019. I released that one because, again, I had moved through that and I knew I wanted to give it back to others. But the other thing is that I could never explain to people is that, and you've probably seen this if you've read any of my messages on Any Advice for Today, is how I could write things years ago that would make sense today. We don't completely understand time or our consciousness. It's always evolving and we're discovering more. But I did it precognitively. That's what we can do. When we can let go of the idea of linear time, then we access more information because it's always there. I was listening to a physicist this morning kind of talking about that and explaining it. And then I also did something on that workshop where I did research because I needed to understand how I was able to do this. And scientists now are showing how the neurons in our brains will activate in different ways, and every individual do it differently. This is why people channel. This is why some people pray and do other things. And others just, will think that doesn't mean anything. So we make a choice ourselves. But today is October 5th. I don't know when you might see this video, but I decided to look at what I was given on October 5th in 2020. See, because in 2020, that's when all of us started seeing something's different. Well, was given all of the information, but still the acceptance of who we are, takes time. It's a when you understand mindset, you don't get there right away. That's why I get a little frustrated when I see people giving up so quickly when they haven't gotten the result that they want. And this is why I say my work is not for everyone, because um, there have been some people who just said, wait a minute, this is too challenging. And others will say, no, I want to be successful. I want to be happy. And those are the people who have made the best choices and the best progress. When I did the first group, you'll hear one lady said that she had been working on something for 35 years and she couldn't get over it. And with this work, she did it. And then she said at the end, well, I've never done anything like this. No one has, because it's new. It hasn't been there. And we're all meant to create something unique and new. That's why we're born. But if we're not willing to take the risk and step outside of our comfort zone, nothing happens. I'm going to read you something this on this date in 2020, and and if you can think about where, again, depending on when you might see this, but if you think about where the world is today, and if you've seen anything, a lot of people don't watch the news or any of that, but you've maybe have felt it. But this is what it said, October 5th, 2020. Let's put on my glasses. You have marginalized yourself. We had Roger look up the meaning of that word, which will be an integral part of this message. We have told you that you are moving through a mass restructuring of your world, of you individually, and the United States would lead the way. We discovered yesterday that some of you might have misunderstood our meaning. The United States will lead the way in change, and the only manner it will do that is by changing, just like you. When you study the word marginalize, you might push back and think you have not done that, but then you would also be denying your life. You were born to evolve and cannot do that unless you recognize there is more you can do and have not done it, and have not done so. Each of you is alive now to come to this awareness within yourself. Beyond all of that, you are also still connected energetically to your ancestors. Whether or not you believe this, you are using their energies to create your life now in an evolved manner. And it goes on, but that will give you the idea. We come into the world and we have these genes. We have a genetic code that we're each given. And that code has limitations and restrictions in them because they had to. We are meant to take that information before and decide we're going to do something different. We're going to make a change. We're going to start to love ourselves. We're going to start to love other people. We're going to let go of our judgments. We're going to let go of our biases. We're going to stop being racist. We're going to stop being misogynistic. All of those things that I've been writing back for since 2016, because I knew this was the progression our world was moving. But if we decide to understand that we each matter and we have something to offer and get busy doing that, we change the world. And this is the thing I've been putting out for the last little bit of time, because I just really wanted people to understand their importance. And you have to get this. There is no human that does anything any differently in terms of creating their life and become successful. No one. There's nothing else. All it is you being given information that will awaken your memory of who you are. Because see, we're all connected to source, to God, to all that is, however you think of it, every single person. But over time in civilizations, we don't come to understand that. And so we move through changes, which is what is occurring now, where more of us might decide that, oh yeah, I matter. And I'm going to offer that essence of who I am to the world so we make a better world. And I'm doing that. I got to do it before I leave this earth, because we don't live forever. We have to think about that too. And there's a part of us that has lost in our world globally. We've lost a bit of our humanity. That's why this is going on. And the only way we get it back is when each person decides to love who they are. Nobody else is going to do it. Nobody else is going to change your life. You are the only one who can do that. And I'm a living testament of that, what can be done, because I've done it. And I still haven't written the book yet, but I will, because I'm going to give you the complete story. Because I know a lot of people look at me and they say, it doesn't make sense that you could have gone through everything you have in your life and still be this vital at your age. Everything is possible. There's no limitations except in our consciousness. And those are the things that we must move through in our lives and also in our world. Otherwise, we may not even have one. And that's a really daunting thing to think about. But I'm not going to allow that thought to cloud the work that I'm doing now, because it's already happening. And I can't tell you one last thing. I had such doubt when I was putting out my program in 2021, and it was before that, just right after that video that I released. And then what I saw was that all that doubt was just so unnecessary, because people are progressing and changing and doing great things that I could have not imagined. None of us can know that, and we don't know anything about ourselves until we decide to do what we came to the world to do, and that is becoming yourself, becoming your authentic self. It's a journey, but I'm telling you, when you get there, it's the most liberating thing that you will ever do, and you will have everything that you want, because that's how the universe is aligned as well. When you start honoring who you are, riches and everything that you want start showing up. Proven that too.
I haven't done anything like this.
It's increased the confidence that I had in myself.
Everything is better. I mean, every single aspect of my life. My income, the progress is just amazing. Like, you can see changes from week to week.
Introducing your last development program, Life Transformation for Success, the newest part of Roger Burnley's coaching series. In this 3-month online program, you will learn the mindset tools you need to dissolve the shame of your past, discover the gifts within you that make you important to the world, and get the confidence to rise above anything that stands between you and the life that you want.
Everything changed in my life. Everything. Every single thing.
It's time for you to reprogram your mind for success and become self-actualized. If you're ready to transform your life too, learn more at yourlastdevelopmentprogram.com today.